Hello guys, been a long time since I'm vlogging from an action camp. Today is the 27th of March, Friday. I was supposed to be in Malaysia, KL, today for a baby metal concert. Oh, it's kind of annoying when there's so many people. It's a Friday, it's a weekend. Why is there so many people on this trail walking? Anyway, as I was saying, I was supposed to be in KL today for a baby metal concert, but then the concert got cancelled because of the pandemic. Well, it got cancelled before it became very serious. So in place of the concert, I thought, hey, I can't get a refund on the flight, can't get a refund on the hotel, so I might as well just continue going there and book an off-road dirt bike trip with Motormaniac. And today would have been probably 2 or 3 videos about that particular ride if I had gone on it. So this goddamn pandemic, the virus that I shall not name, or else YouTube will censor this video, kind of ruined the trip. And I believe for most of you out there watching my videos, you're motorcyclists as well, and motorcyclists in Singapore have a penchant of going to Malaysia, taking a road trip up there. But I guess your plans are just as ruined as mine. But that's not really, the bad thing. I mean, trips are ruined. We spend a lot of money, we spend a lot of time planning our trip, and then just like that, it gets ruined. I mean, personally, I lost a bit of money. I managed to get a refund on my hotel in full. My flight, because I booked Scoot, they didn't refund me my total amount. They just gave me a 1-year voucher, which means fuck all to me. And then, of course, the down payment I paid for the dirt bike trip also, well, I lost about $40 on that because they couldn't refund me the full amount that I paid. So yeah, kind of sucked. But then, if we think about this entire bullshit positively, actually it's probably not that bad. The first few days when I realized that the locked borders between Malaysia and Singapore was there, I got really, really angry. All that money spent, all the effort spent gone. But then, 2 weeks passed and I'm like, hey, you know what? There's ways to salvage this trip. I still kept my leave because anyway, I'm probably not going to be going anywhere this entire year. So I might as well use this leave to come and cycle the Mandai Trail, T15. This is my favorite place because it's the easiest trail in Singapore for mountain biking, and it's relaxing. It's a good way to practice riding. But for the rest of you that probably want to find a way to salvage the situation, salvage your trips, you can always follow a couple of these very nice riding roads that are in Singapore. Of course, Singapore isn't really a Malaysia. We're no Australia. We don't have a putty road that stretches on forever and ever with beautiful greenery and sights. But Singapore still has a couple of hidden gems. If you ride a motorcycle, whether off-road, on-road, or if you don't have a license yet, an EMTB like me, well, let's begin with the on-road recommendations. I've actually ridden all these road places before, and they are really nice. The first one, of course, closest to most people, especially if you're living in the west. Actually, all the good roads for road driving are all in the west. Oops. So as I was saying, I almost fell there. The good roads are all mostly in the west. The first one will have to be the Rifle Range Road. It's a mostly straight road that leads up to a military camp, and from there, I think, if I'm not wrong, a little whatchamacallit, hiking trail. So this particular road is relatively straight, not much turns, a bit of traffic, but if you go there in the evening or at night, or probably especially during this period, I think the traffic there isn't really heavy. You can try that. It's a nice, pretty calming road to ride on for people that like cruisers, just one relaxing one. The next on-road recommendation I would say is hello monkeys. Yes. The next recommendation I would say would have to be what's its name again? South Buona Vista Road. Yes, South Buona Vista Road, or 99 Bends as some people call it, is a good road. It's got a lot of bends, so if you like a bit of corner carving action, give me a second. This one requires a little bit of concentration on my part. Yeah. So as I was saying, it is great for people that want a little bit of corner carving action on sport bike, Super Dukes, that kind of shit. But it's not really all that cracked up to be if you choose to ride it during the day, especially on weekends. I really recommend riding it in the dead of night when there's no traffic, because then if you go with a couple of friends, especially if you can scout out the road beforehand to make sure there's no traffic, it's really fun to go up and down on. It's like the ultra mini Hakone of Singapore. A lot of turns here and there that you can really enjoy. So you have to be a bit careful. It's not very wide a road since it's two-way and it's one lane each. The last one on road, I would have to say, would be Neo Tiew Road. Neo Tiew Road is great for people that, like me, likes to come out in nature, see greenery, and it's near farms as well, so you can occasionally see the occasional stray dog, stray cat, some chickens, squirrels. It's a beautiful place. If you are not really in a very huge rush, you know, especially for those people that are there for a calm ride on a cruiser, a smaller bike in general, you can extend that ride down to Lim Chu Kang Road. The only reason why I don't really include Lim Chu Kang Road into this whole equation is because there is a little, not really a little, it's this whole bunch of speed traps in the area. Is a hot spot. So the speed demons out there will have really nothing to do there, considering it's a very straight road where the whole point is going fast. Now we move on to the off-road portion. Obviously, the first one I'm going to talk about is the one closest to where I am right now. It's the SAF, Singapore Armed Forces cross-country driving circuit. Technically, it is a piece of restricted land. It's meant for training military drivers off-road. But the good thing about it is that if you go on Sundays where there's no training, avoid the weekdays and Saturdays. If you go there specifically on Sunday in the morning, generally nobody's there to stop you. And there was once I went there on a Saturday and I interrupted a reservist training, a training being held by the SAF reservists. So nobody said anything. I wasn't arrested or anything like that, and I was on my DRC back then. So as far as I'm aware of, as long as you don't interrupt the training, you're okay to go there on a mountain bike, go there on a dirt bike, whatever, if you have a dirt bike. And the thing is, there actually are signs inside the circuit that marks out the cycling trail. So I believe they do expect mountain bikers at the very least to be there, so members of the public. But otherwise, if you are, if you see people in uniform, just turn around and head to the other location that I'm going to talk about. And as for the SAF cross-country driving circuit, you enter it the same way as this trail, the Mandai T15 trail, just along the Mandai Road and the exit of the Singapore Zoo. And then once you enter it, you should see a paved road inside. You turn right and it leads you to the place. You can get lost in there a bit, but it shouldn't take you very long to kind of figure out the layout. The next location for people that want to ride off-road in Singapore is the Tampines Quarry. Just Google map it. I can't remember which road it came off of, but that's another popular spot with dirt bikers as well. It's a bit more advanced, so I'll recommend people use the SAF CCDC. You have no off-road riding experience at all. The Tampines Quarry, I recommend you know a bit about riding dirt, because down there the roads are steep. The paths are steep, and the trails are heavily rutted from constant use by many dirt riders, and they are not maintained by anybody. So yeah, go there at your own risk, but it's a fun place if you enjoy steep slopes and a lot of jumps. Another fun place to ride as well. Now what if you don't have a motorcycle, a road bike, or a dirt bike to do Tampines Quarry, well, then you can always buy a mountain bike like I have and enjoy more options than you would on a motorcycle, because Singapore doesn't really have a lot of places to ride with an engine. It's a small country and motorcycles need a lot of space. But if you are content with a mountain bike or an e-mountain bike like mine, then you've got more options. Of course, the first option for the absolute beginner like me is to ride the T15 trail that I spoke of here, right here. It's like I said, off Mandai Road, very flat in general. Some climbs, but the downslopes are relatively simple. Anybody can do it with a bit of practice. Not much skill is needed. The next one I can think of at the top of my head that is also easy to get to is Chestnut Park. It's the newest park in Singapore. I've only been to the northern section of it and I failed miserably at riding it, so I don't really want to go back there anymore. But if you've got some riding skill, you would have already heard about that by now. But the reason why I'm putting it up is because it's also actually supposed to cater to people of lower skill levels. Just that I went to the wrong section. The North Loop is meant for people with more experience riding off-road on mountain bikes, whereas the Southern Loop is a bit more like a T15 with gradual slopes and a bit more distance. So that's where most of you who have never heard of the place should start off at. Of course, I'm not going to go through the rest because the rest are, mountain bike trails in general are blocked off for dirt bike riders, so don't try to enter them. And the rest, like Bukit Timah, Pulau Ubin, they take a bit more skill. So if you have never heard of them, you probably shouldn't be riding them first. Those that know about these places would be able to ride them. I mean, those that will be able to ride these places will already know about them anyway. So there's no point talking about these places. And I've never been to Bukit Timah on my MTB, and I've done Pulau Ubin before, but I didn't get very far. But in other news, so yes, this virus from Winnie the Flu and the CCP ruined motorcycling in general. So sorry. The motorcycle automotive industry is kind of ruined right now because the flu kind of, the pandemic kind of limited movement required people to stay in, so production is limited, movement is limited, and it's affecting Singapore as well. Especially those of you that ride really rare machines, you might have realized that it's hard to get parts, and as we don't really like to admit it, Singapore is very reliant on Malaysian workers. Almost all our mechanics, all our competent ones anyway, are pretty much mostly from Malaysia. So you might realize that not only has it been hard to get parts, it's also hard to get somebody to solve your trickier problems, especially if it's an engine issue. So you kind of have to solve it on your own and figure out how to get parts somewhere else. So on the bright side of things is, it's gonna affect workshops, this whole pandemic situation. But for the rest of us, If you haven't noticed, I did check the oil prices, the pump prices on the way here, and it kind of dropped like 20 cents, roughly around there, for around 95 over the past few months. And the reason is because the whole pandemic kind of dropped the demand of oil, as the aviation industry is no longer able to fly. So most of the demand for oil is gone, and prices have kind of plummeted, as both Russia and Saudi Arabia are now engaged in an oil price war. So yeah, I guess that's a good thing. Hey, another monkey. That's a good thing for those of us who depend on petrol. And since it's so cheap right now, this is the perfect time and perfect excuse to go out riding on a motorcycle in Singapore as much as you can. I mean, for those of you who have leave to spare, I doubt you are going to be able to travel anyway, so why not just use some of those leave days to go out riding like I am right now. Anyway, we as riders probably already are doing one of the best things for the rest of society by riding bikes to work, to get anywhere else, because riding in itself is a pretty solo activity most of the time. Even if you do it with a group of friends, you're still like very far apart from each other with a helmet covering your head. So that's social distancing on a very fun hobby for you. Now I'm just gonna leave my camera running for the rest of this ride. I don't really have anything else to say other than, stay positive. It may last very long. I think it could last till early next year even. I'm not sure, I'm no statistician, I'm no expert, but this pandemic isn't going anytime soon, and if we keep on thinking negative thoughts, it's not going to get us anywhere. I'd rather spend most of the energy doing something fun like riding and worrying about some dumb pandemic, ruining everything. Just just be cautious. Take your proper precautions. Clean your hands. Don't touch your face. The usual PCK thing telling you shit. Wow! Whoa. Yeah. And try and don't be negative in general. Just enjoy the ride. Honestly, the downhill here is a lot more fun, the return trip, than the uphill. What I really want is for there to be more roads, more of these kind of trails, easy trails. but I guess we don't really have a lot of space. One should be enough. I hope this footage, this helmet footage turns out good, because I once recorded this particular ride from the top of my helmet and it looked very boring because the camera was very high. It didn't really capture the speed of the trail. Well, I mean the trail isn't actually it's not really very fast. Your average speed is about 20-25 k's if you're average an hour. It's not a particular fast trail, but it's still very, very fun. I like trails that go faster, not much technical features like in Bukit Timah or Kent Ridge. Oh, that one is another difficult one, I've heard. I'm kind of surprised that there's still so many people out there on a weekday. I pass a huge number of people. It's insane. And I thought that when I came here on Sunday, I usually come here on Sundays, and I thought the number of people that you meet is quite high already. Should have fucking brought my goddamn oil. But this bike is falling apart. I think I'm gonna need to buy a new bike soon, or find some way to lubricate all these goddamn parts. There's a problem with riding a full suspension bike. Too many hinges, get them a bit wet, and then the stupid thing just freaking rusts over and squeaks and squeaks and squeaks. And you can oil it all you want, but sometimes it just doesn't help. And that is the end of this trail. Hope you guys enjoyed. Hope to see you guys out on the road. Stay safe, stay cool, and bye-bye.